other human beings as if they're not going through their own like personal unique experience that leads them down a certain path and makes them make certain choices, and that they don't have their own separate struggles. Everybody is so like me, the world revolves.
Honestly, at this point, it's comparable to racism. Yes, some men suck balls, but it's my minority of men. I think the way that I would put it, I think a lot of people are, it's the problem of trying to find someone to blame, that you don't realize why people believe the things that they believe. You don't realize why it is people are conditioned to think one thing or another or whatever, and like no individual person is going to be at fault for the things that they believe. That's the sad thing that a lot of people on the left kind of hate, is that like it always feels better if you can resent somebody for being so harmfully wrong, that if you can just write them off as like a bad person, it makes things so much easier. It makes things so much easier to just be able to say, this person's a racist, this person's problematic, this person's a bigot, this person's a patriarch, or whatever the fuck it is. People are racist, bigots, patriarchs, whatever word you want to use. People are these things because of the environment around them, the history around them. And if you were in the exact same position as that person, if you went through all the same things that that person went through, you would be literally, definitively, the exact same way. And if that's the case, then you need to think about how you can be an environment that could allow someone to change their mind. That you are already part of their environment. What is it that is missing from people's environment that could teach them to live a different kind of way? That's the question that needs to be asked, that a lot of people on the left they like hate that question. The idea that like if somebody's like a racist or a bigot or whatever, that they're a racist or a bigot because they're a bad person. It's like, no, it's not because they're a bad person. They're a racist or a bigot or whatever it is that you want because of their history, the people who raised them, their environment, the world outside of them, that no one has to be in. That's the reason why they think the things that they believe. And you cannot disconnect them from that. It makes no sense to do that. So you have to decide to be the environment that you want people to grow up in. That's what you need to do. But so many people, they become leftists or whatever just because they want to be able to say that they're a good person, because all these other people are bad. That if you can point to someone and say like, these are bad people, and I know that they're a bad person, and the reason why that I'm able to point this out, I can tell you why they're a bad person. I can tell you all the different ways that they're problematic. I can tell you all the different ways that like they are ontologically evil. I can tell you this because I'm a good person. Because I care, because I am a true leftist. And that's that crazy toxic shit that you see all the time. Twitter spaces, these leftoids, poly people, no comment chick, YB is just schizophrenic. Just like tons of these online lefties.
Join my free workshop on how to buy.
Tons of these online lefties that are just looking for people to resent so that they can say that they're a good person, but they're not, because they neglect the actual reality that everyone else lives in, and by virtue of that, they neglect their own reality, and they're living in their own little fucking bubble, telling themselves that they're a good person. And that's it. And that's why you'll have like a lot of these things that like she was pointing out here, like people are like responding to this, saying shit like like, oh yeah, well, men commit X amount of violence, men do men rape people the most or whatever, and it's because they're evil. It's like, well, if you actually cared about solving the problem, and I don't think a lot of these people do care about solving the problem. They'd rather care about being seen as someone that wants to solve the problem. But if you wanted to solve the problem, you would think critically about why people believe and do the things that they do and believe. You would have to think critically about that. And if I don't see people thinking critically about that, and instead they're just pointing the finger at everyone else, then I think I have enough information there to conclude that these people don't actually give a shit like they say that they do. They just want to be seen as someone who gives a shit, like they say that they do. And I think that's like the fundamental question that people on the left need to be asking, is that like, how can I be the environment for people to allow them to be something new?
Beings, as if